shit. A real fucking icebox.
There is no spoon.
What's wrong?
Seriously? Auto-updating now? General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the satellite for 49 minutes.
How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Fuck Microsoft!
Well, they call them interdimensional beings.
He specifically asked for you, sweetheart.
By our powers combined, we give you the Galactic Family Podcast.
Put the phone down.
Hello, my name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
It's probing time.
Hey, how's everyone doing in the Galactic Family Podcast world tonight? So, tonight is going to be a special one, okay? Because this is our operational briefing for what we're going to be doing in the field in New Jersey in the Pine Barrens. We've got it all locked down. Got the area locked down. We have the cabin locked down near the area that we'll be operating in. And for the first time, the Galactic Family Podcast is moving beyond discussion and into the field. In this special live episode of the Phenomenon Pulse, we're going to break down our upcoming multi-day real-world investigation into one of the most active and mysterious regions in the United States, the New Jersey Pine Barrens, spanning over 1.1 million acres of forest, wetlands, and geologic complexity. The Pine Barrens has long been associated with a wide range of unexplained phenomenon, including UAP sightings, strange lights in the sky, shadow figures, audio anomalies, and reports of altered perception and time distortions. But this time, we're not just talking about it. We are going in. So right now, I'm going to bring up Joel. He also is part of this as well. Anybody in the background that's part of this can join. The link is in the Discord channel for people that are part of the research group, D, Planet Popstar. If anybody wants to join in to fill in their part, that's fine. If you don't, no worries, because I know you're still working on it. But the operational window, okay, what we're looking at here is we're looking at from the 17th to the 19th, okay, we are going with a field activity planned from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m., and we're going to primarily focus from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. right now. This is going to be the primary focus right now. The comparison sites. Okay, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into what's called Apple Pie Hill. Yes, George, I will be bringing the what do you say? The commensatory apple pie. So
I think all things should commence with apple pie. Yeah, but I think the word you're looking for is consummate.
Yeah. Consummate. So we're gonna bring the consummate apple pie with us to cut as we're up there to break all bad luck, hopefully, of the investigation.
Yeah.
Now, Apple Pie Hill is going to be the baseline reference. Okay. Apple Pie Hill. Here, let me bring up a map here.
He's got maps. Yeah, I'm Apple Pie Hill. I'm not sure why it's called Apple Pie Hill. Dee, you were in the room there a second, and then she's pinged out. So feel free.
You can probably look it up. I haven't looked it up. That's one thing I even though I've been working on the framework, I don't really have an amazing visual of what this area looks like, other than it's got lots of pine trees,
Well,
which is interesting too from a plasma perspective. I haven't played with that yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pine. If there's a huge amount of pine trees, it's.
There's definitely a huge amount.
Yeah. So I'm sure energetically that's something that.
One of my pet theories is that trees and flora are actually some form of antenna using the mycelial network underneath to they like detect signals. And
I think that is. That is one way to look at it. From a larger systemic view, I would say, it's definitely there's an effect that's energetic, but then also, so when I would look at trees, depends on where they're sitting and all that within like. So if you have trees that are sitting like in a valley, then now you have this flow that's through the valley. Then you could look at trees as maybe part of the energy system, but they also might actually be more like a filter system for the ionic flow that's moving through there. You see what I mean? So it could be sort of the blocks part of it. It just depends on how it all works. And I've never, I'm not into it enough to have been measuring those little differences yet. I don't think anybody really has been.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you're aware. There's a 1970 chief signal officer called George Squeers, and he created a system whereby attaching a piece of metal to a tree, you could turn it into an antenna to pick up low frequency radio. So you can use
no doubt about it. It's shaped like a perfect antenna, inside and out too. System, and then mycelium. When you do mycelium, it's the same concept as root system, but it's just much more intricate. It's micro. The systems are all pretty much built like that. Just conceptually, you can always look at any system built like that. Conceptually, almost like a tree root system, right? The whole. This whole thing.
Yeah.
So we can look at anything conceptually that way, but with trees, obviously, it becomes a whole much more literal. But it's for sure they act as antenna, like an antenna, no doubt, in all kinds of ways.
It's possible that when you go into a forested area or an area with lots of brush and things, that physically you're changing that landscape, and you may be detected going in. The trees have ears and eyes; they're watching.
That's how we don't really look at that. We don't think about that consciously very much, but whatever's on the surface of the planet, and it is rooted into the surface of the planet, it makes a huge difference in the local environment.
Absolutely. Like soil erosion right the way down to, it's crazy to think we only live on 6 feet of topsoil, and that's everything that we produce is on that 6 feet. So kind of soil degradation is really important, I think. Anyway, Jay, you've got this map here. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, okay, so I'm looking for the actual area real quick, but this is the magnetical anomaly map for New Jersey, for the New Jersey Pine Barrens. So it's got a wide variety, even zero zones, which are immensely even more curious in my nature, that they're just zero. There's no effect whatsoever.
That's actually going to be pretty interesting. I'm very excited about seeing that part of it, because it's what I would think you would see if it's an actual zero zone versus right where you've got somebody else's data here is what we're looking at. So, but if the data is correct, if you're looking at a zero zone, then right around near those zero zones is where all the turmoil is going to be, where all the stuff will be happening. We'll be on the edges of those zero areas. If that makes sense. So
exactly.
We'll see.
And that's why we chose Apple Pie Hill as a baseline reference, because it's the highest area within that area. It has a lookout point and a tower. That's why George brought that up, because there's a lookout tower up there that goes up like maybe 500 to 1,000 feet. And since we already have the high frequency generator already, he was thinking clip onto the metal antenna as an antenna and using that to send the signal. But I don't want to call in a mothership. That's the problem.
They'll know. They'll know. You don't have to worry about that side of it.
A caveat is
you was talking about you can do the same thing with trees too. You know.
I think the antennas I think they like the human antennas the best.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we also have the CE5, CE5 team also.
That's what I'm saying. That's all the antenna we need, I think.
Yeah, D, Planet Pop Star, all them in the background. Lady D, Planet Pop Star. There's a bunch of people in their Discord that are going to be doing the CE5 part of it. And they're going to be focusing mostly on this one area that we're looking at, which is Apple Pie Hill. Because, like I said, when you're up on that tower, you overlook everything at a 360. You're the highest point.
Well, are you guys? So here's just a suggestion. I'm not a CE5 specialist by any means, but the CE5 team is visualizing that tower is the place where maybe could be where you're at checking it out. I don't know. Seems like a really good.
Yeah, as an actual
visual show, and it'd be a good spot for you to view from. So I don't know if you've talked about that as a potential spot for you to do your CE5 interaction. I don't know. Maybe that's not my area of expertise, so I'll leave that to those who are listening. Suggesting that potentially.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you got the highest point with a clear structure on top. So you've got a point of reference, which if you're going out on expeditions into the environment, at least you've got a marker which is visible from multiple angles.
Well, I think also from a CE5 standpoint, that's how you part of the process of visualization of. I don't know if everyone does it that way, but I think
I've never done a CE5 experiment before, so I'm intrigued about it. I mean, I think there's a definite consciousness element to the phenomena at large. I think it's a two-way communication street. Just want to give a quick couple of shout outs. Scooby Dooby Gooby's in the room, returned abductee, all right. Popstar regular, and hello. And Zwitter Elf, Lady D Knits, and people are flowing in slowly and surely. So yeah, here we go. Apple Pie Hill.
All right, so let me see the watchtower. So it's all there. It is like you're up on top. You can see everything.
I don't know if you click on the little symbol J of Apple Pie Hill, does that bring up images? That one. There we go. Click on that. There you go.
There's the watchtower.
Is that a fire tower or is that just a watchtower?
It might be a fire tower.
Well, a lookout. Look like observation, I guess. Observation platform.
Yeah, but you're looking at, millions of miles of just wilderness, swampland.
Oh man, that picture looks spooky with the half-dead pines there. Go back a couple, back one. Yeah, that.
Oh yeah. No, but it's like these. There's the tower right there. Yep. So it's a big tower that goes up. George was thinking about, let's just connect the high frequency generator to it and just send out a signal.
I never said that. I'm not implying like this is state-owned property.
We're not implying anything.
I'm not suggesting that you clip on like an antenna and get signal.
No, this is
I didn't.
No implying anything here. It's all about working through what we're going to be going through, what we're going to be seeing out there doing. There you go. Like up on top of the tower, you can see everything. So if we're sitting up here on this tower and we see everything out there, we're going to have the CE5 group focus on this tower. Okay. We can set up camera equipment, actually, not what I'm thinking of. We're going to set up the camera equipment up on top of the tower. We'll get a 360. One on one side, one on the other. We'll get a 360 view of the area. So even if we miss something while we're on the ground, the cameras up there will pick it up.
I mean, the visibility there looks really good. I mean, that's clear above the tree line. For like that's distance right there. So anything moving around in a strange way, you're going to be able to pick up from that
Now, of course, we'll be asking permission and calling the right people to get the permission. And even if we don't have permission, we'll set it up what we can on the ground. It's still a clear view 360. It doesn't matter that we're high up like that or not. It's still the top of the point.
Yeah. It's a natural location to assemble. Oh, look at some of these pictures. It looks amazing.
Oh, it's it's gorgeous, dude. It's beautiful. It's gonna be the best trip. I'm telling you.
What's the projected like weather for this time of year? Is it? It's on
the cooler side.
Okay.
Cooler side. I'd say right around 60 to 50s. So it'll be cooler. But what we're going to do, actually, let's go through this. So like I was saying, the New Jersey offers a rare natural laboratory for the kind of work we're going to be doing here. Let me get my screen the right way here. There we go. A natural laboratory, like everything it has in there. It has, the zero zones. It has zones that are operating at, over 303, I guess, nano Teslas. Is that NT nano Teslas for something for magnetic? So that's got to be huge being in that point. Now,
it's welcome D, one of our researchers into the chat as well. Welcome D. You can hear us now.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Cool.
If you have anything to add, D, just jump in.
Yeah, will do.
Now, the guiding idea behind this operation is that the Pine Barrens are not being treated as we're not going to treat it as a loose collection of stories, okay? Which we're going to treat it more like it's supposed to be treated. It's a layered environmental system, okay? So we've got geography, we've got the wetlands, we've got visibility, magnetic variations, and the cultural expectations too. All right. I'm not just going in there running down forests and all this. We go in with the utmost respect into these places. The human and human perception is going to overlap a lot with this as well. The reports from the region, we've got the UFO sightings, the unusual lights, silent movements over the trees, shadow figures, the haunting traditions, the low frequency hums. Now, I want to test the low frequency hums with that, with the magnetical too, because it could have something to do with the geography of the area and the layering of this, the material under the ground. So we've got a huge amount of projects we're going to be doing out there. And on top of that, we've got the disorientation and the altered sense of time. Broader claims like a liminal or unusual spaces in the wetlands that you can step through. I will not be doing any stepping. We'll be making a drone do that. Now the same landscape that marks that, it marks all of this. It's worth studying. We've got quartz-rich soils. We've got sandy and quartz-rich soils. We've got the wetlands, cedar water, dark forest corridors, reflective water margins. A setting like this can influence visibility, thermal retention, acoustics, local electromagnetical behavior, drainage, humidity, and even how a person judges distance under low light visibility conditions. Now, for that team, it means that the environment itself needs to be logged with the same seriousness as any unusual sighting. So when you're going in there, you're returning and you're returning to comprehension. A site with like a broad sky visibility and lower magnetical complexity can function as a reference point. And that's why we're going to the Apple Pie Hill. It's going to function as our reference point. Okay. So I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I got so much stuff to go over, but anytime you guys can stop me and say, hey, let's go over that real quick. Now, the framing, the folklore, heavy into the folklore, okay? Depending on which way you guys want to go with this, the magnetic anomalies are really, really key in this, okay? They play a central role in the operational logic of this investigation. In practical terms, a magnetic anomaly is a localized variation in Earth's magnetical field caused by underground mineral deposits, sediments in the structure, moisture, the distribution of it, buried boundaries, or surface conditions, that affect this. In comparatively quiet regions, even the mildest shifts can stand out when readings are taken carefully and compared across the locations that we're going to be going through here. That's why planning the bands measured in nanoteslas, there we go, that's NT, nanoteslas, matter here, not as a proof of anything unusual by themselves, but we're going to organize each site and then compare the environments individually together. That way we can have a broader spectrum of each environment individually, and then we'll compare them together and see which ones will fit our mapping criteria when we're going into these places. And this is just the beginning. I mean, that's the first 20 minutes, and I've already gone through half of my spiel here because magnetical is a big thing when it comes here.
Kind of what we're doing, Jay. One of the things that we really are doing here is we're at the beginning of creating a framework for how to do this for everybody. I don't think this is how anybody else is really doing it right now. At least not. Well, we'll see. I can't find anybody that is doing it like this. In terms of just creating it, looking at it from a larger, like plasma-based framework. So obviously others who are into this research are starting to understand plasma, but I think we're at the front end of it, of looking at it as that as our collective framework of how we're going to essentially map the whole thing. I mean, I don't know that from this, we probably, the data that we're getting, because we're a small team, obviously, we're going to get local information. But essentially, one could, with our framework, create a map like this map that you see in front of you, but locally, in a way that, of course, you have to remember all those energies are always in motion too, though. But what we're going to be able to show, I think, at least to a certain extent, we will be able to show that where these boundaries overlay, where essentially you have the edge of these colors meeting. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really actually paying attention to this, but theoretically, say we got this thing all colorized, that's where your strange stuff's going to be going on. It's going to be in those areas where the two kind of energetic layers are coming together. And I think we'll be able to just create a color chart just like this for it eventually. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's the really exciting part for me, is that you guys are going to be on the ground. That's a whole other thing. Like, I wish I was coming to do that with you guys so much. Yeah, one of these days, I want to be down there and experience it for myself. But it gives a framework that we and anybody else who jumps on with us can move forwards with. And so we just start recruiting more people that want to do things like this. And this is just kind of how we do it. We look at it as this collective framework, and we're dropping in with like a concept of a conceptual boundary system. And we're just looking at the properties within that, and it allows us to map it really well. So that's the exciting part. That's the part that I'm like paying attention to. For my
secondary and secondary, but not last of that would be, the CE5 part of it, the actual trying to make initial contact with whatever's in the area there at that time, and having going on top of this 303 nanotesla magnetic anomaly and going, let's go right there at the tippy top of that anomaly and boost and throw out a signal.
That's where you're surfing the ionics, man. Kind of, in a way, it's where you're surfing the ionics, or that's where the craft's surfing it, kind of.
Yeah. So what we're now. Yeah. Now, Apple Pie Hill, like I said, serves as our primary baseline sector because it has good sky visibility, cleaner planning grade and magnetic range. It's a little cleaner. It's a place where the team can establish what the night feels like when environmental complexity is relatively lower. So at Apple Pie Hill, it's going to be at the lower end. And then let's see here. Then we're going to.
You have the low end parts is the high spot.
Yes. That's
so kind of expected. Expected.
And then the Carranza Memorial, by contrast, is treated as a higher complexity comparison sector where denser woods and historical gravity and stronger gradient behavior may create more visual observational environment for what we're trying to do as well. The Base River and the new Greta sit further down in the model as future stress test locations to go to, associated with like stronger planning bands where methods can be eventually pressure tested under noisier conditions in there. But the larger geological rationale is straightforward. Energy and signal behavior are affected by boundaries, wet versus dry, open sky versus canopy, wet margin versus sand, lower ground versus elevated ground, and weaker versus stronger magnetical behavior. The mission, therefore, is built around the idea that the boundaries can create opportunities for measurable change, and overlapping boundaries may amplify those changes or dissipate changes, depending on variance in magnetical anomalies.
And that'd be the trees would be a great example of that.
Exactly.
It could be amplifying or it could be reduced. It just depends. It's all about relative relationships.
Like you could have trees on top of a hill and they could have a gradient to it, but they wouldn't have magnetic. And then you could have trees inside of the lake and the swamps, and that's water, and all of a sudden you have now
grown in quartz or whatever, right?
Exactly. So let me see here. Where am I at here? There it is. So that doesn't automatically mean that a strange event is going to have a paranormal cause. Okay, we have to understand that we're trying to sift out the noise from all of this, which is there's going to be a lot of noise around New Jersey and the Pine Barrens. And let me see here. Where am I at? It means that the environment gives the team leader, me, a better chance of seeing when and where ordinary conditions stop behaving normally. Okay, when you get the inkling that you're feeling something's off or something, go check your machine. Go check around. Like you check around the area. You are your own best antenna when it comes to going out there. None of these machines will tell you. They'll tell you the readings, but they won't give you the physical effects that you're going to feel from these actual things you're going to be in like.
One of the reasons people have not been able to really do it this way yet, or have not gotten together to do it, is that there isn't really a good blend correlation of overlapping of what those monitoring devices are doing. You know what I mean? It's almost like, hey, this one's over here, this one's over here, this one's over here. And so that's what we'll be doing too, is we'll be tightening those models to be able to, how we've categorized it already on the sheet, the way it's currently set up with those categories. We can get those, we'll be able to get those tighter for future uses as well by getting those, the measurements, by getting literal measurements and hopefully mapping over this. It'll give us more, that specific stuff will give us broader information for a framework, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm actually about to put it up on the screen so people can see. I just want to make sure.
I think you said you're going to be keeping like a pencil and notebook real handy just to get impressions.
Yeah, see, this is way too small.
Or whatever it is you use, talking to your phone or talk to each other after, if there's more than one person, compare notes and everything. The one thing to remember is that you may also just, in some of these areas, they're so energetically so high, you may feel sudden onset of like anger or dread or like negative emotion stuff kind of pour out. And just, be chill about the fact that doesn't mean there's anything negative there. A lot of these vortices, the way they work. So, like, if any of you remember the one in Sedona, here's what I experienced in Sedona.
Oh, I'd love to go.
So the big one, it's just the big one that everybody knows, the one that tourists go to, and it's super noticeable. So, and I'm sensitive to this kind of stuff anyway. So, my wife and I are there, and we take it on, and we end up in the bottom where the energetic vortex is coming from, and all of a sudden, I'm just like confused and like pissed and like scared. I'm like, what is going on? Like I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I was like, why is my inside my head? Am I like kind of losing my shit for no reason? What's happening? And then we got out of it, and I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm like back to normal. And then we got to the top. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So these vortices where they're nice is essentially where they're coming up and they're swirling, and then you get up at the top near the edge, and you're just kind of feeling this edge of the vortex. That's where it feels nice. Or if you're a dead center, probably it's still, but if you're in, does that make sense? So So there's probably all kinds of stuff like this in New Jersey, all kinds of stuff. So just realize if you go around the corner and you feel really crappy, you're probably going to have a reading there. We're probably going to have a reading. It's going to confirm that there's a reason why your central nervous system spun out. There's a reason why you went fight or flight, and it's energetic.
It kind of reminds me of animals sensing, volcanic disturbances in the geomagnetosphere, right?
Yeah. But we'll be able to measure it. If you have your measuring stuff with you, you're going to be able to measure it. That's what I'm saying. It's actual measurable changes in geological changes as you're going into those areas.
Well, quick welcome to the studio, Lady Danielle. Jay, I'm thinking because Lady Danielle was original co-host with you of the GFP in for a long time. Would it be cool if she's able to kind of help me do the studio stuff, because I'm not, clicking buttons and stuff. That would be, I'd really appreciate that, Danielle. If you could do that, if you could join in, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and obviously, and then I don't know, Jay, when it comes to the stream of the operation itself, I don't know, like maybe I'm moving a bit far ahead here, but you're obviously going to be on the ground with your team, hopefully John and Jerry Tedesco, hopefully Gene Sticko, and some other folk as well. We are going to be doing a live stream, I imagine, if we're able to, from the location, as well as you recording information. And don't forget the Polaroid cellular camera. Don't forget that, because if you see, I want digital enhanced information, but I want like old Polaroid camera information as well.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Oh, your mic switched off there, Joel. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I said maybe you also have to have the daily paper with the date on it too, to prove. Like
yeah. Buy a copy of the local newspaper before you go.
There you go.
So you see in here, like it says, I made all of this here. I know I'm a nut, but I went. Oh my gosh, I went hard on this one.
Do you want me to read any of this, or do you want...
No, I've already read all this. I'm just showing the screen. So you'll look. It's right here is where we start the next framework. If you want to read it. Oh,
okay. So the is that a timestamp there? Is this 42 minutes to 55 minutes, or is this 42 to 5?
Yeah, it's like it's a timestamp I have in there for time to read it or whatever, because we're like, see, we're supposed to be at 42 minutes right now in the show. We're at 34 minutes. So I'm ahead.
I'll try and speak it in a very calm and slow, gentle pace. At the center of the operation is one governing rule: structure first, interpretation later. That line matters because it prevents the team from forcing meaning onto isolated moments. A visual sighting without synchronized context remains an observation. A sudden EM fluctuation remains a fluctuation until it can be compared to the noise floor and checked against other sensing layers. A feeling of dread, vividness, or altered time may be important, but it becomes analytically useful only when the timing, environmental conditions, and parallel sensor record are preserved. That doctrine leads directly to 3 operational requirements. The first is baseline comparison. Every meaningful event must be measured against a known reference condition, which is one reason Apple Pie Hill matters so much in the opening phase of the mission. The second is cross-sensor correlation. No single device or observer is trusted in isolation. The team is looking for moments where 2 or more layers align in time. The third is repeatability. If an event appears once, it's logged. If it appears again under comparable conditions, it begins to matter scientifically and statistically as well.
Mm-hmm.
This same framework also governs the go and no-go decision process. A site earns continued attention when it shows measurable deviation from baseline, useful boundary conditions, and correlation across more than one sensing layer. A site is downgraded when it shows no meaningful deviation. Only one isolated device misbehaves, or contamination from interference, traffic, structures, or simple environmental clutter overwhelms the data. The discipline to walk away from a weak signal is just as important as the discipline to follow a strong one.
Mm-hmm. And we can talk about that if you want before we move on then.
Yeah, absolutely. You might have a zeitgeist of ideas of what you may or may not encounter. And so you're looking for something that isn't there. And then you get a very small sporadic bit of data and you latch onto it, but it's just sporadic randomness, So actually the ability to walk away from those things in search of more definitive data.
Here's the thing: is when we get in those brainwave states, sometimes whether it's the fear is the worst one, right? Where we do is you just don't want to go down a rabbit hole, right? You just want to pull yourself right back out of it and go, okay, well, not in terms of enjoy the experience if it's enjoyable to you, enjoy it. But just when it's done, just realize, okay, we're grasping data because we're trying to capture it. We know that all that kind of stuff is real, you guys. We're trying to, so we want to prove it, right? Kind of in a way. I mean, that's what we want.
Yeah, I think kind of some of our ideas, if we look at some of these so-called hunting shows, ghost hunting, paranormal shows, it's entertainment, it's infotainment, it's entertainment. So it kind of gets views based on the viewer feeling the same as the presenter, and the presenter is going through a range of fear responses so that the person in their living room can feel comfortable in their own fear responses, knowing that they're not there.
Yeah, and I don't want to tell anybody don't be scared. You feel what you feel, right? But the idea in any context, no matter what you're doing, especially if you're doing something tactical on the ground, operationally, it's all about having a calm nervous system. That is the only way to have high level discernment is to go. So just remind yourself of that if you're feeling it. Just bring yourself back, however you need to bring yourself back into to your calm, and try to just be. And you guys are gonna be up there. It sounds like at night too. So out in the dark some. So just do your best to stay calm. And keep your nervous system calm, because that's the best way to. And then keep it to not a state of disbelief, nothing like that, but just in a state where it's hey, no matter what crazy stuff happens, I don't necessarily have to run to grab the camera if the big guy's there or whatever, but have your experience, but get your measurements, I guess, and don't make any assumptions about what those type of interactions are, because what we're eventually going to be able to track is, hey, look at, somebody had this experience where it's maybe there's this thing there that seems solid, but here's what the data you know what I mean? All this stuff where there's overlay into what we have as hard belief systems versus just what am I perceiving. We want to be able to map that stuff. So that's the idea of this whole project is that, I think, right? You guys agree?
Yeah.
So we want to make contacts too, of course. So if
it's
saying something important to you within contact, don't shove them out of the way to get the camera.
Well, it's I heard a great podcast the one time that said that everybody talks about you need evidence, you need evidence, you need evidence, you need correlated evidence. So if you have like an event out there, that's one thing. That's I am one source of evidence. Nobody's going to believe one source if I told them the world was ending. Okay. But if you have my source looking at it, then you have EMF, then you have radiation meter going off, then you have this going off, then you have a magnetic flux going off or magnetical anomaly in the area, and it's reacting. Then you have multiple points of sensors that are actually correlating this event, and you can say, wow, I've got something now. But if you have just me, it's like I still can be a sensor to myself, but you have to have that correlating evidence to base it off of.
And that's the dream, would be to have all that overlay, right? And I think that we are going to be able to get that with this, because a lot of this plasma ionic concepts we can map for aircraft that's in flight. Also, it's the same concept within the framework. So, we can definitely get more info. But in terms of just believability from people, if you have two independent witnesses and then you have two readings, I mean, that would win in any court of law. Like you put somebody up for murder, no problem on that one. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it becomes, I would say, then we're into an area where even the average person's going, oh, maybe I kind of, sort of believe it a little bit. Not that we really need that anyway now. I mean, the United States is the only place, I think, dragging their feet on that anyway. So, and I think that's starting to really dwindle now that everything, we have congressional hearings for what? 5 years.
And also, I've heard, states themselves are now doing their own anomalous phenomena study groups. So
because the feds aren't doing it to their liking. Yeah, it makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So if we're sitting there, we're helping different areas like New Jersey Pine Barrens. We're gonna come in there. We're gonna correlate this area, and this data will be available. It'll be available to be searched, to be referenced, to be picked through. To see.
Yeah, maybe after we're done, you can talk to the mayor of whatever that place in New Jersey that's like going. I forget which mayor it is, but he's like, they're flying by my house, man, like every day to the president Trump. He's like, I don't know what to say. Like, there they are.
and more like getting the actual research out there, getting the information out there, the data out there. The data is key. Once we have that, then we can start compacting everything into it and make something stupendous out of it that we could call our own.
Totally. In the meantime, you guys are going to have a really fun time on the ground. What an adventure that's going to be for you.
With apple pie.
Wait to hear the stories. Something crazy is going to happen. It is.
I think the phrase I was thinking was expect nothing, prepare for everything.
And by prepare for everything, just be calm. Just have the calm nervous system. Be still inside. Be positive.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I'm just checking something real quick. Gene just popped into our Discord channel, so I'm trying to see if he's going to pop into here.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, go ahead. So the sensor architecture and detection layers. Okay, now we have different machines out there we're going to be using. All right. And George, I'll let you take it, and then we'll just go we'll go paragraph by paragraph if you want. Just talk a little bit in between.
Sure, yeah. Okay. The detection architecture is intentionally multi-layered. Magnetic tools help map structural variation and drift. Radio frequency and electromagnetic monitoring help detect dynamic changes in the signal environment rather than static background conditions. Thermal and infrared systems help reveal gradients, localized hot or cold zones, and moving heat signatures. Audio systems capture hums, abrupt sounds, cadence patterns, and low-frequency disturbances. Global positioning system and synchronized timestamps preserve the one thing every serious investigation depends on: exact alignment in time and place. Human observation logs then add the subjective layer that instruments may not catch on their own, including emotional tone, body sensations, changes in certainty, and unusual shifts in awareness. Yeah. So you kind of got like a combination of hard data combined with kind of human observation out externally, as well as what's going on emotionally, emotional regulation and things inside as well. So all of this can be cross-correlated and then pieced together with time and place.
Exactly, George. Exactly. And you need that because you're going to have all this logged. You're going to have everything. And it's just, it's layered. It's like the detection layer itself, you know, how it's going to be structured out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in this area is pretty high chance that anything that anybody there is feeling is you'll be able to get it if you have all those sensors with you. I mean, because this is just this is just geologic energy flow. It's there all the time. So I don't know the history in terms of who's been measuring what in there. I don't know anything about that history, but I would be shocked if the team feels something and you're not able to catch it on at least some of the measurement tools that we have. But we'll see.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, you can definitely feel stuff that those tools are limited, just like our own antennas are. So, but I think that's pretty high chance that if you're feeling something, you're going to be able to pick it up on one of your instruments. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the next paragraph. That structure above matters because the field is rarely clean. A strange light over the tree line could be an aircraft, a tower, an atmospheric effect, or something generally hard to explain. A sudden audio event could be wildlife, distant traffic, wind behavior, or something that deserves deeper attention. A sensor spike could be meaningful, or it could be contamination.
Mm-hmm.
Strength of the system is that it forces unlike data streams to be compared with collapsing the investigation into a single favorite explanation. A visual report gains value if it aligns with radio frequency change. A witness report gains value if multiple observers or devices register something in the same window.
Mm-hmm.
Context is everything.
And that makes everything because, like it says, context is everything. When you have so many systems that are visually, just like we went over before, I can be my own visual sensor, but I'm not going to have anything else to base it off of. I can be a visual sensor, but I'm not a recording visual sensor. You know, I can't record my own thoughts right now and in this moment, but hopefully later on we'll be able to. But
I've got it on a screen next to me, Jay. Like, you know, the van outside.
Oh yeah. Tell him to pick you up later. Tell them to pick you up later.
I'm just joshing. Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, if one person senses something and then another person says or the other person next to you sees the same thing at the same time,
correlation.
Then correlation. And context of the situation where you are, what time it is, like and everything you've just said there is spot on, basically.
Yeah, and this is some of the. Now, I'll read this part. The refined loadout supports that logic. The optical and imaging systems include telescopes, a 6K camcorder with it's a 6K HD camcorder. Let me see here. Where am I at? Night vision binoculars, 4K smart camera, trail cameras, compact zoom scopes, detection and scanning recorders for as far as the audio, and then we'll have the EMF 390, the tri-field meter. We'll have the thermal imager out there as well on top of the tripod. We'll have gas detector. We'll have the metal detector. We'll have the MUPOS detection system. Now, here's another fun part about that is the MUPOS system actually will be able to record the variance of the magnetical anomalies that are happening in real time. So we'll get real time graph scopes of the geonomic. Yeah. Yes, that. I'm getting tongue tied here. So that's
But you said you're not going to bring that 45 though. You said, right?
No, that's not going.
45 off.
So Nick, yeah, that is for Pennsylvania because I have a carry permit. But in New Jersey, like I said, we go by New Jersey law. I can't carry it with me, so I'm not taking it. I actually have bear spray. So instead of that, I have these 2 cans of grizzly bear spray.
Okay, dark repellent too. You want some? Just kidding.
But so the extension cords, all that. But then once we start going on here,
how are you gonna? If you don't have, I guess you need the Tedesco brothers big. Was it the Nightcrawler? It's called, just to put all this stuff in it.
Well, I mean, I have the if they aren't able to go out there, we'll still have it, and I still have all the equipment. I've got probably 10 to 15,000 of equipment. I'll take all of it out there, set it all up on tripods. I've got the table, I've got the laptops, I've got, we'll set it all up, we'll get it all set up, and then we'll have it going live. We'll have the radar, the 24-hour flight radar going. We'll have the drone radar going. We'll have the EMF hooked up to the computer going. We'll have the gas detector going. Then we'll have the thermal going. The 360, hopefully, cross my fingers, they'll give us permission to put up that 360 camera on top of that tower, and we'll be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
I think I'm pretty sure, writing and asking for permission for such, they'll probably be fine with that. I reckon. Well, I hope so. You don't know.
And plus, like, all the research is open source. Like, I'm not hiding anything. Everything, as soon as we get back from the field, I'm making a folder, and it's going in our Discord channel, and it's going to be open to anyone to root through the data themselves to see what they can come up with. Mm-hmm. Because maybe I didn't catch it. Maybe the AI didn't catch it. AIs are fallible. Mm-hmm. Humans will go through every single line and pick out one little itty bitty character. We can do it together, and that's what we're going to do.
I'm looking forward to this. I'm kind of hyped and excited. Just on the mythology and folklore level and prehistory level, and then okay, I'm a bit geeky, so like the geology interests me, and the magnetic field variances and these kind of things, and then Joel coming in with the plasmic theory and the plasma ideas, which is new for me. So
that's on here too. We're gonna get to that too. That's his special research he put in there, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, "Whew, that's a day up there, right there. That's the criteria for that one that we need." So, and also anybody who puts into this research will have their name on the research with us. Joel's name's going on his part. Lady Daniel, D, Planet Pop Stars running that group for her name, and everyone below it, for the CE5, everyone that participates in this will be named in this and will be put out.
Excuse me, what dates are the game? The 16th?
We're doing the 17th and the 18th. So the 17th will be a Friday night, and the 18th will be a Saturday night. And then the 19th is our cleanup day, and put everything, all the data, make sure we have all the data, log it all on the computer, make sure it's under one file. Then when we get home, I can just be like, Joel, I've got your part, here it is, and then you'll be like.
So I've talked to Dave Martin at NKA Technologies, which is with that essential, and we'll just call it a quantum computer for now.
Okay.
That we're working with. We'll be able to crunch the numbers. We'll be able to do something probably pretty magnificent with that thing, with just this information. We'll see. I haven't talked to Dave specifically about doing that, and he's super busy with all his IP, with the IP part of it and everything.
Oh, of course.
But I think it's something that once we get it, it would go pretty fast with what we could do with it and make it cool and put it out.
Yeah, I think there was a couple people. there was a couple people. There was one other person in the LinkedIn also that I was getting involved also because of the fact that they had an AI model for variance for plasma variance to see about something, and I was reading it. It's like to authenticate an anomalous plasma event. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I got to look at his name again. I'm sorry if I forgot it. You're probably in the background now, looking at this.
I would love to just know if I could hear what the anomalous plasma event was, then I probably would understand what you're saying. But plasma, from the perspective of plasma, it's just it's part of everything that's happening around you right now as well. It's so anomalous plasma maybe is referring to like, hey, saw something moving
that's
around
what it was.
In a state of plasma. That's a little different.
It was here. I got it here. It's where is it here? Openly, he has a practical environmental applications. He does. That's what he does, and he's doing a. Oh, this is gonna be good. You probably NGST-C, and there's a little hyphen on top. V2 test and related ideas.
Okay.
So he's testing. He's testing a theory against the data.
Yeah. So that may be it's a specific mathematical proof that he's testing potentially right there. I'm not familiar with that particular. I don't know them all by I use.
Yeah, I don't either. But anyone who comes out, you'll be able to use this data that we compiled for you. And like Joel wants to look at like the plasma, we can. Here's his plasma. If anybody wants to look at the auditory, here's the auditory that we had out there. Anybody wants to look at the visuals, here's the cameras, here's the sensors, here's the data. Here you're going to have all of that. So it'll all be mapped into one.
Nice. Yes.
Yep. Now, let's continue on with the next one here, which is
core experiment.
Yeah. Let me get it bigger.
This I think this next section is where it really kind of comes together.
Is that big? Yeah, that's big enough, I guess. Is that big enough for you to read it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. So the core experiment, dual signaling. This is where the operation becomes especially distinctive. The mission is not limited to passive observations. It also tests interactions. 2 signaling channels are used. The first is physical, controlled electromagnetic transmission through the high frequency generator and related radio frequency equipment. And the second is consciousness based, a synchronized remote CE5 protocol focused on the same target area during defined windows. The value of the design is not that either channel is assumed to work. The value is that both channels can be compared against time-stamped observations, environmental conditions, and one another. The physical signaling is straightforward in concept. Controlled bursts are sent into the environment at planned intervals. And during and around those windows, the team watches for changes in radio frequency behavior, electromagnetic fluctuation, visual anomalies, my lights are just flashing for no reason, or environmental shifts. The question is whether deliberate electromagnetic input produces any cluster of responses that can be distinguished from quiet windows. If nothing happens, it's still useful. If something happens repeatedly around those windows, the pattern becomes more interesting.
Yeah.
The consciousness-based side is equally structured. The remote CE5 group, led by Planet Popstar, works through repeated 20-minute cycles composed of grounding, directed focus, and quiet observation. Participants are not asked to improvise wildly or chase dramatic experiences. They are asked to enter a calm state, direct attention towards the Pine Barrens operational zone, maintain coherence, and record impressions carefully. Because those windows are synchronized with the field team, The remote group becomes another timed variable in the experiment rather than a vague overlay. The real research value emerges at the overlapping point. If unusual activity appears during a transmission window but not during quiet observation, that matters. If multiple participants report notable impressions during a C5 window without any physical transmission at that moment, that also matters. If both channels appear to cluster around the same kind of events, the question becomes even sharper. And if neither produces anything distinct, that is still a legitimate result because it tells the team what did not repeat under controlled conditions.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's exciting, right? So you kind of got the physical detection, and then you got the sensory, the nuts and bolts, if you want to call it that, detecting. Then you send out pulsed radio frequency signaling. Some people may know this is a dog whistling type effect. And then at the same time as that, a group of folks in various locations on the planet are directing consciousness through C5 protocols with Planet Popstar to then kind of like just see if anything's going to occur at the same time or bring something in. I don't know. Yeah. It sounds fascinating. So that's multi-leveled, and you know, that's funky.
It's how my brain works. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do the CE5, the scientific, and link them together in a meaningful way with data.
Yeah,
we're there. This is it.
Does one influence the other? Does the other influence the other? Are they separate? Are they combined? Well, it's all kind of like pre-CE5.
They're not separate. We're actually that right now. They're not separate.
Yeah, man. Now, a serious operation has to account for the human factor without either romanticizing or dismissing it. In anomalous field work, some of the most interesting moments are not the easiest to describe afterward. An observer may experience something vivid and immediate and unquestionably real in the moment, only to find out later it's like a dream-like, fragmented, or difficult to explain in ordinary language. The pattern does not automatically validate the experience, but it does not automatically invalidate it either. Has to be documented as a part of the event itself. Then you take it apart after that. That's why the witness handling begins at the moment of observation, not the next morning. Someone suddenly feels detached, loses track of time, experiences unusual calm, or later finds that certainty dropped dramatically. Those details belong in the log under the emotional tone, the body sensations, your perceived time distortion, and the presence of absence or fear after that. And whether the experience was shared by another observer, that matters. The better the documentation, the easier it becomes to separate fatigue, expectations, stress responses, and a possible anomaly from another.
Yeah, and I think as well as everyone keeping detailed logs and a little notebook and diary, which we're going to collate, I think in the studio, Lady Danielle, myself, and others who join in will be keeping notes of anything we observe through our observations from our perspective as well. So all of that data, all of the impressions, all of the sensing, all of the C5 impressions, all comes together into a form which is then referenced as data in itself. Hey, Planet Popstar has arrived.
And Planet Popstar has come at a perfect moment for human perception. So, I mean, this is your baby.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I was a little late. I was having some tech difficulties.
No problem.
So yeah, do you want
my mic okay?
Yeah, Mike's okay, a little bit low, but not too bad. Could you maybe give a very, very rough overview for the, I mean, most people in the community are aware of what C5 is. My understanding of it is very limited. So perhaps for me, you could give a rough overview of what the protocols are and how it works, or how it's perceived to work.
Yeah, that shouldn't be any problem. So CE5 is essentially, the fifth CE, which is contact initiatives with extraterrestrials of some form. I prefer to use the phrase also HICE, which is human initiated contact, which kind of explains it a little bit better. So what you're doing is you're going into a meditative state, and you're basically, with your thoughts, sending out a signal that you'd like to initiate contact.
Right. Okay. So a meditative state. Meditative state. How is the meditative
state? What was your question?
How is the meditative state synchronized with everyone? Is it kind of like you as a focal point are guiding everyone through a breathing exercise or regimen?
With the meditation for CE5, since it's an initiative for contact, I would essentially lead them through a contact initiation. It would be a step-by-step. So we would go basically introductory of each individual who's part of the group. It would have to be a rough overview of the individual, a name, some background about yourself, because you're introducing yourself to whoever you're trying to contact. From there, you can go through a mission statement, why you're reaching out for contact, and then you can geolocate. That's kind of like Google Earth.
I see.
So you would zoom in on your location. Yeah. So you would start off with your location, and you would essentially mentally visualize yourself leaving your location and then going to the location you want to make contact at.
Okay, so that structure on the observation tower on Apple Pie Hill is the kind of core focal. For me, and I'm like I say, I'm not a C5 expert. It sounds a little bit like projecting of mind consciousness to a location and then drawing in pushing out consciousness to draw in phenomena.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what you're trying to do. Yep,
so,
and you could focus on the tower, but a better target might actually be focusing on Jay.
Yeah, okay. Focusing on Jay. Jay will start levitating off the ground a couple of inches.
Oh, I'm Jay. I thought
Jay goes Super Saiyan.
There you go. Jay is more powerful than the tower.
I'll make sure I bring a spoon with me too.
Well, if human minds are all connected through a quantum network, then that makes sense, right? So it's harmonizes with like. We're all bags of mostly water. We all have a nervous system, so we're all fundamentally very similar. So yeah, it makes sense.
I was making a joke, but I think it's literal. I think Jay is more powerful than the tower. I'm kidding, but I'm serious. In terms of how this communication works, right? Kind of pop star. I mean, that's the human antenna is the best antenna for this, right? I mean, better than any metal tower.
I would think so.
Okay. Here we go. Do you want me to do this one, Jay? Location profiles and why they matter. Apple Pie Hill functions as the missions control condition. It offers one of the clearest panoramic viewpoints in the operational region and is not as heavily saturated with local monster or haunting narratives as some of the other sites. Its value comes from visibility, cleaner comparison conditions, and the chance to establish how the night behaves before environmental complexity is intentionally increased. I think that's a key point there. Before you switch on the transmission, before you switch on the consciousness transmission, it's not as complex as other locations in the Pine Barrens.
I think it's energetically, it's the calmest spot. That's what works so well for it. It's the calmest spot. Yeah.
The most important.
It's kind of like it's center of whatever's swirling around there. It's the calm center of that. At least it's one. We're not talking about one spot, so there's more than one, I'm sure, but this is one of them. And it also is just a great spot for visibility because you're up top.
Yeah. The most important things to watch here are aerial light behavior, horizon movement, changes during controlled signaling, and how a relatively quiet site feels across multiple sensing layers. Carranza, I hope I pronounced that right, Carranza Memorial brings a very different kind of pressure. It's historically charged, emotionally weighty, and operationally more complex. Remote woods, denser canopy, and a stronger planning grade gradient make it ideal for two-night comparison. If the team sees more variation there than at Apple Pie Hill, the task is to decide whether to change the tracks with environment, history, suggestion, or a combination of those factors. Carranza matters because it is both a harder environmental test and a harder human test. Batstow and Astian extend the model through history and water interaction. Batstow combines preserved industrial history, bog iron, that could be a key factor, bog iron, water adjacency, and strong architectural atmosphere, conditions that often encourage haunt-style interpretation and optical ambiguity. Atsian adds shoreline reflection, humidity, mist behavior, and low-lying terrain, making it useful for studying water boundary effects and calibration around lakeside visibility. Mullica River is even more boundary-driven, serving as an environmental laboratory for reflection, sound carry, and the unstable visual field that water can produce at night. Blue Hole and Ong's Hat. Okay, Ong's Hat, I'm going to ask quick. Okay, are the most law-heavy sectors in the broader network. Their value lies not in taking portal claims at face value, but in translating those claims into measurable questions. Do navigation errors increase there? Do perceptual anomalies cluster there? And do environmental layers behave less stably there than in the baseline sector? Bass River and New Gretna stand as future escalation zones where the method itself can be stress tested under stronger planning bands. Leeds Point remains the cultural anchor of the Jersey Devil tradition. An important reminder that folklore shapes expectation and therefore becomes part of the observational environment, whether the team wants it to or not.
Exactly. The field design is going to depend on the separation of roles. Okay, you have the sky watching, you have the signaling, detection, data logging, and remote support. Should not all collapse into one physical cluster. Separation makes them easier to determine whether one team saw or felt something before being primed by another. It also protects the recording from turning into a single shared story too early. For this operation, the live studio remains active under George's control, while the field team works the sites that creates a stable broadcast and coordination layer. Instead of leaving the studio dark during the mission, we will have little bits of information in between. Planet Popstar leads the remote CE5 group and serves as a coherence point for the consciousness-based component. The Tedesco brothers and the Nightcrawler platform remain invited and welcome as an independent verification layer if they decide to join, but the research operation will continue with or without them. I'll be bringing my other friend, retired Army Sergeant Anthony. He brings military discipline, situational awareness, and field reliability to the ground operation, while his Lenni Lenape heritage, Indian heritage, adds a meaningful cultural connection to the broader history of the land as well. Brooke, who is my girlfriend, and Anthony, who is my son, my youngest son, as non-believers, my girlfriend Brooke and my son Anthony will provide an important balance function. They help ensure that not everything we see out there is immediately inflated into significance. Okay, we've got these baseline, grounded people out there. If they see something and they're like, whoo, then I've got recording going. I've got everybody data logging, and we're going through it. And that mix of perspectives is a strength, not a problem. A serious field effort, benefits from believers, skeptics, disciplined observers, technical operators, and participants who are willing to log a quiet night, honestly, if that is what the environment gives them. Like, if it gives us a quiet night, it gives us a quiet night. We move on to the next area. It's not like that. That's a good thing. Then we might have an area there where there's not anything happening, and we can use that as a stable grounding point there. The credibility is all about the final report, and that's going to depend on all the balance that's going on this whole exercise.
Ideally, what we really want is to find the quietest spot, because the way this patterning works with the way we continue to research this is based upon understanding the relative offset relationships of these, how this system works together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So finding a zero spot is great, because then that gives you a spot to where you're not already in the interference, right? You probably won't find a spot that's just totally dead, but if you do, really pay close attention. Your nervous system is probably gonna just feel like totally chill. That's the case. You pay attention. If you find something that's low, just go, hey, does my nervous system think calm? Because it probably will. I mean, we'll see, but see what I mean? So just, that's a good one too, is to go, hey, well, how do I feel even though I got nothing on the monitor?
Also, am I right in suspecting, Jay, or assuming that this is one of the first times you're going out into a known an area with so much history behind it?
Yeah.
And so this is like almost like I wouldn't say a dry run. I think you're more prepared than that. But it's like, okay, like exactly as Joel says, if it's nothing occurs, you've got all the equipment out, you've got everything set up, and it's like a base. It's a different form of baseline, so that if anything on another expedition takes place, then you've got like one, you're more au fait with the equipment, the setup. I'm going to get experience in the studio pressing buttons. Lady Danielle's going to help us there as well, so that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Awesomes. Popstar running the C5 from like another unit out there as well.
Off-site location.
We'll be able to bring people in, and then everything will be timestamped. It's quite exciting, actually. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what we get out of it.
It's next level, especially going to the ground. You guys going to the ground, like
operational flow, base camp, 2 nights, and timing. Base camp at Wading Pines provides the controlled start and return point for the operation. Equipment staging, calibration, role assignment, post-site comparison, and preservation of notes before late-night reconstruction sets in. The mission rhythm begins with calibration and baseline windows, moves into active scanning and signaling, then eases into quieter observation and careful debrief. That rhythm matters because it helps the team compare what the environment feels like before deliberate inputs, during those inputs, and after the site has had time to settle again. Night 1 at Apple Pie Hill is built to establish reference conditions. The team enters with a clear understanding of what counts as baseline, what tools are prioritized, and what the signal windows will be. And Night 2 at Carranza Memorial is where the same structure is tested in a more complex environment. If the environment changes, the team can ask what changed with it: canopy, magnetic behavior, human expectation, historical resonance, or all of the above. The operation remains the same. The environment becomes the variable. Across both nights, the essential phases remain consistent: baseline measurement, active scanning, controlled signaling, CE5 synchronization, quiet observation, and debrief. The goal is not to fill every minute with activity. The goal is to preserve windows that are comparable. And in that sense, restraint is part of the method.
Exactly. We're going through this with a scientific fine-tooth comb. We're not trying to speculate on anything going on out there. We have the baseline stories from other people that have had that. We use that as a reference point, not as a solid point of reference, just as a reference that is in this area. And it could be because of these other anomalous things are happening, the magnetical, the different areas of geomagnetical, the geology itself, the bogs, the ironwood, the different things that are going on there, George, just like you said. Going through those swamps, you have all those trees going into the swamps. They start to like crystallize at the bottom, or they turn into, rock at the bottom and start to crystallize. Then you have water running on crystal, running on an antenna. Like,
yeah. It's part of me, one, I want everyone on the ground to have a safe, fun time, or be engaged, not necessarily fun, but be engaged and have a safe time. I'm talking of contingency planning with your bear spray, or something coming down, or portals opening, or there's going to be a certain amount of preloading of potential, like clearing your mind of any preloaded expectations is going to be important.
Yep.
So
bring the sage and everything else to cleanse the area as well too when we go through, and the equipment, because
more credit to you to use what techniques you need to kind of like get into that state of like data collection and pure observation. And yeah, I wish I was coming with you, but most I can do is be in the studio, and hopefully there won't be a flash of light and people,
Well, George, at least we'll get it on video. Then people can say, hey, we were watching a live show and somebody just went poof on live.
1-800 National Forest Commission.
Call Missing 411.
Yeah, get David Pleiades down there. That's it.
Get him on it. All right, so.
Well, can I just point something out real quick? So this is something I try to teach. Whoever I'm teaching, but paramedic students is a really good example of this one. Is that so? We're not really trying to find cause. You know what I mean? We're just looking at overlay. Does that make sense? So part of understanding how this stuff works, I mean, within consciousness, is to kind of let go of our understandings that the third dimension is causing other stuff. It's more like it's sort of the thing that's caused where the cause is happening. I don't know if that makes sense to you. It's a conceptual idea, but it doesn't matter. Just you can strip that away too. Just go, hey, you want to with the best scientific understanding, even from a perspective of cause and effect. You take that out of the equation and you just go, what is overlaying with what? And that's all you're doing, is just collecting that. Now, you can, at any given point, of course, you can look at it and go, well, where's the correlation here? And you can view it from cause and effect if you want. But if you kind of strip that perceptually from your data collection, it just takes all of the whole part about like, okay, I'm done now, out of the context, which within science we don't really want. But it is kind of the battle that that mainstream science has, right? This race to be right. Well, that's not really a thing, man. Like, I mean, it can be for you, I guess, but for me, we keep on going. There's never a time where we have the answer. There isn't one. We're just collecting data, and our answer just grows. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
So that's how. So for something like that, that's the idea of this framework, is that we're not making any assumptions about cause and effect. We're just looking at, wow, this is happening. Well, this is happening.
Yeah.
And then that starts making it really easy to connect everything back. And once you have it connected back in a couple of ways, then we can mathematically proof it and call it proof. Because that's the only true. People are looking for proof, and they're looking for literal, but those words don't really have a defined meaning that's collective. It's something. So there's this argument happening all the time about being right based on reaching an answer, but that's not. If you want to crush it out in science, you got to just strip that away. So, anyways, that's the idea of a framework like this. Is that you're just looking for overlay. Now, when you're down there in it and experiencing it, now you got that. The experiential overlay is what it's all about for being a human, right? That's That's where it's going to be really interesting and really fun. But even if we don't have that, just with the readings that we're going to have in this area, we're still going to be able to look at, hey, this is a new framework and a new way of looking at how this data overlays for anywhere. It doesn't have to. We don't have to have anomalous things happening for all what we're doing right now. This works for all of geology.
And then once we're done with this one, it's kind of our base model. We use this one to create an even better base model and go into the next area even better.
Exactly. And it just spreads out, and people download it to their AI, and it can do it too, or whatever.
The information will be available. All the data, logging, the environmental, and once the log sheets are gone through, because probably if somebody puts their name and they don't want their full name in there, that's fine. Just put your first name. I won't use last names or anything on there. Just put your first name on the notes that you took with the CE5. That way we know, we can have it in a different selection, basis for that.
And I can't wait to hear the CE5 experiences for the remote CE5 experiences too. Hear that. Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. And what matters most is at the end of the program or at the end of the operation is not whether the team can tell the wildest story. It's what matters is whether the team can say with honesty that we entered the field with structure, protected the integrity of the recordings, and measured the difference between expectations and evidence as carefully as possible. That's all we need to do. A mission like this succeeds if it produces disciplined baseline records, useful site comparisons, and a cleaner sense of what did or did not vary across locations and methods. Okay, we have these. We can put them, like Will said, into the AI, and it will say, wow, look at this correlation between CE5, the magnetical anomaly went off over here. Then we had, this over here go off, and the AI is going to be able to put all of that together and be like, this is something or this is nothing. Or it's something to build off of, because you do have stuff like that. That's what we're doing here, and the final question remains the same from beginning to end. Does the phenomena respond to a frequency, consciousness, or some combination of both? That question, it does not require a sensible answer, on night one. It requires a framework strong enough to keep asking the question under better and better conditions. That is what the Pine Barrens operation is designed to begin for us. I personally, and all of us, have spent years watching the phenomenon, talking about it, and trying to understand it from a distance. But eventually, a serious team has to go out there and test it. And this is exactly what the operation is about. We are going to the Pine Barrens with a structure, with multiple systems, coordinated roles, and with a method designed to separate the noise from the pattern. We're not just watching the phenomenon anymore. We're going to be stepping into it, recording it, and data logging the hell out of it. So some of my stuff that I'm bringing out, minus, see, there it is. Not included. Yes. See? Not included.
Speaking of not included, make sure you got additional battery packs, everything, because like some people report like batteries running down, like strange electrical phenomena with so that can all be logged as data points as well if that occurs.
So I've got a plethora of different materials, different scientific items that I'll be taking out there as far as stuff that we'll be able to use in cross collection as far as everything goes. And every single one of them has an SD card, and every single one of them will be completely formatted, ready to go for this mission.
Awesome.
Oh, it keeps going.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see the results from that MUPAS, because I don't know much about that one. That sounds intriguing.
The MUPOS is an interesting one. It's an interesting system.
Well, I have to look into how it was created, because it sounds like it's kind of more towards where we're headed, which is this understanding of this offset relationships principles.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna look into that, because I think that's probably that somebody who built that thing kind of understands that. So I wonder.
Unfortunately, you won't be able to speak to that person because he did pass away 4 months ago. My good friend, who made the device, they're still keeping it out. They're still keeping the legacy alive. So I'll get you in touch with their.
Okay.
I'll get you in touch with their technical team that they have over there that's still surrounded around his main example of the MUPOS is a device that needs to get out there.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love it. Love those desynchronicities. Just dug in there on a whim. Thanks, Val.
No problem.
I am definitely want to talk to them. I sense that they're heading the right direction here.
Got it. Actually, not the MUPOS. That's what I was thinking of. Not the MUPOS. The MADAR node. That's what it's called. MADAR.
Well, perfect.
MADAR. MADAR.
Okay, I want to hear that one too.
That's
what's
the
the
one.
M stand for? What does the M stand for?
Let me bring it up here. Actually,
magnetic.
I'll show you.
Because that's the one cool thing. I mean, radar, just the conceptual idea of radar and the conceptual idea of like sonar. You just put those over each other, and you can kind of theoretically map any kind of surface with those. You know what I mean? So you want to just map something that's just, hey, what's the shape of this building? It's not that tough to do it with those two concepts. Just radar over the top of sonar. Then you don't have to do it that way. You can look at it conceptually, right? You're just talking about curves and vectors in terms of radars, looking at flat spots and vectors, and that's how it measures. It's part of the reason that the drone issue is going on with our military's inability to be able to see certain drones on their machinery is because just the curvature. Certain types of curvature. The signals coming back, it just confuses, especially like radar, essentially. I mean, I know it sounds really simple, like you'd think they'd have that figured out, and they do to a certain extent, but it confuses their sensors, essentially. So
there's multiple anomaly detection and automatic recording system.
Perfect. Yeah.
It has.
So it's doing okay. Cool. That's a big part of our issue right now, is that we're also measuring this kind of idea that you're following something coming through versus just a relative perception points boundaries space that map it. That's not how our systems work right now, but they totally could be. And I don't know how you can take the systems that we have currently and just create a cyclic based 12 RPR map and just keep track of it. You don't even have to change the way you're assessing anything, or you have to change the way you're assessing anything, but you don't have to change what it is that you're detecting. Does that make sense?
You can see like they're all over the United States.
That's so cool, man. Oh yeah, that's awesome stuff. I'll definitely
my good buddy, Francis Ridge, God rest his soul. He made it, and he passed away about 4 months ago. But like I said, the team is still working to with his legacy to continue this and keep it going. So I know for a fact that they are going to keep it going.
Well, cool. Maybe I'll talk out to them. Maybe we can get it to do something even cooler.
Yeah, it says here the MADAR 3 data probe uses the latest breakthrough technology. It provides a basic unit that doesn't actually require any of the things mentioned above to work. This device provides UAP detection, alerting, and recording.
Oh, okay. So specifically for UAP.
Yep, and it also does How does it do that? Here it is. The sensor looks at data background levels at 15 times per second, but records data on a spreadsheet once every minute. When the device detects an anomaly, the software algorithm puts the data probe into an alert mode, or code blue. The LED will turn blue. The device begins sending data much faster, beginning with line called alert stat, which logs all data and in 3 minutes. This siren also on your thing will last for 60 seconds. And the operator of the device anywhere in the world is alerted by his or her, on their phone, email, whatever. Like, you have an alert event, something's at your house, and you can sit there and click on it and actually look into it.
I'm just curious. The part I'll talk to them. They're probably not on their site, but if I get a chance to talk to them, I'll just ask them. Well, are they look just relative electromagnetic changes, or I don't know. Wonder what they're looking at. Really, what you want to look for is an inversion of those spots, of like the absence of them. If you want to find the ambient, the solid state stuff where there's no moving parts, the good guys, basically, the ones for sure that are benevolent, just because you could say that a bio nervous system couldn't be inside something like that and not be benevolent. So there's just a biological nervous system. So this ambient EM field stuff that's out there, it's basically ionized geometry. It's not, doesn't have any, it's not a plasma engine. It doesn't have any moving parts in it. So those are, those you would find with just an absence of signature, basically. I mean, I don't know if, and then that dog whistle thing's really interesting too. But those, like we were talking about, I think it was Jay, I was talking with you the other day, the dog whistle thing, they're just using ultra low frequency sitting between like 0 and 0.5 hertz, which we call like you call that delta within your own, brain signature, like deep sleep. And we almost don't map it. We map it as not sound. So that's what my theory is what the dog whistle is. But I think those look more like beings, when you look at those, who were the guys that were doing that? Jake Barber. We were talking about this the other day. They're shut down, but those guys that were coming in, to me, they look more like ionic beings that live in like sort of our atmosphere, as it's, those ionic pockets aren't really a here or there space anymore when you get that much like argon density, essentially, in that magnetic ionosphere. So there's just some sort of whole world happening up there that's like an ocean, basically, with those beings. Now that's
where your framework came in here too, that you made for us.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, and all of this, guys, all this is going to be like the Discord channel has our researchers channel now in it. Active missions in it. That's already launched. We have the it's not just going to be a channel. It's going to be a place where we can work together, dig deeper, share ideas, and pinpoint actual locations to investigate. If you guys have something you'd like to investigate, let me know.
Ultimately, Jay, I think what I see happen, we'll see, but what I think I think obviously there are other groups out there like us doing their own thing, right? And what I see is that these groups like us coming together to just form this just massive, colossal, eventually worldwide group. Hopefully, that's kind of my vision for it, especially when we get the tech that would go in place that would be essentially high dollar if it's anybody had their hands on it. But when we get that into like an IP structure, and then we have this basically this massive charity thing that's a worldwide charity essentially, and that's kind of my vision for where I'd like to see things go. But I think I see where it's probably going long term. We're grassroots. We're the first in the. What were we talking about this more before we started today? That we're 2026 is like the getting it done, the manifest.
Yeah.
Comes to manifestation, you're going to do the work to make it happen in 2026. So that's what we're doing. And it's not just us. That's what I'm saying. There are all kinds of People, it's coming
we're
together.
gonna have many people in here, like many different people that are going to be involved in all of it.
Well, I think we have some groups out there that are building. I don't know if you guys are aware. I think we can talk about them openly, but IMIX is one of them. That's the sort of Mexico-based group that's got some big players in it who are great people. Their idea is level 1 society 2, and then of course you got New Paradigm Institute, which is also Romana Group, same people, which is Danny Sheehan and all them, and so. I've talked to both of those parties, trying to get them get going on the concept of creating an IP, public trust IP, and they're both just too busy right now because they're spreading out. But one thing I can't say, NPI, they're planning on in 2026 start getting this group together where there is an IP thing happening under their umbrella as well. And then of course IMIX is kind of trying to start off with that because they've just got. They're just getting people together or getting their organizational structure together, but they're pretty organized as near as I can tell, other than they're really busy. A
lot of people are really busy nowadays to do anything because of the UFO field has slammed all of us at once.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too that it really is coming. You can see it's coming to a head now with the whole disclosure thing, but we're not waiting for that. For the IP development stuff, myself and a couple of others of us, I can't, we already have this stuff developed, ready to go, basically, not in physical, not built, but conceptually, the
framework.
The framework and some of the actual just build stuff, literal build design stuff, not even, I won't get too crazy because it's not, I'll just say it's not anywhere somebody's going to get to it other than it's available public online between the lines. So it's out there. So we're all protected from it. None of us working within my group come from any kind of a military background where we have any NDAs where we have to hold back any information, but we're being careful with it. But essentially right now we're just spreading out in a way where we're like, hey, we're not waiting for, in terms of here's the thing, for a long time, we've been looking at as a people, we need to know the disclosure so we can get this tech to the people. We don't need to do that, you guys. We have the tech now. We have it. So we have the conceptual build. Now we just get to get the people together to build it in a way that's responsible to where nobody swoops in and goes, hey, I own everything, right? Because so we're talking about energy right here. We're talking about going off grid. Obviously is what I'm talking about. So, and in ways where the energy can't be weaponized. Can't be weaponized because it's closed geometry. It's we won't get too much into that. But the gist is that we've got it. Now we're going. We don't need to worry about this group. We don't need to worry about disclosure, other than if you want to worry about the story. We're just going around all that and getting the stuff for the people. Getting the people educated on maybe the process of CE5 and all that kind of stuff, but also just understanding the process of how energy works, how energy works at a level that is not necessarily bound by space or time, like at all. We don't even use it in the equations. They take it out, kind of. It's kind of like, I call it fourth dimensional mathematics, but it's pretty simple stuff. So it's all out there, in the public. We released it all in ways to where somebody is eventually going to do it anyway. So the idea is it's public information. Right now, our monetary control system on the planet is just not ready for it. Right? It's just not ready for it.
Yeah.
And the average person wouldn't be either. It's like, hey. So my question is always when I come to new groups. I think I asked you this too. Well, I didn't have to ask you, Jake, because it's right on your billboard. But I always go, hey, would you rather be a trillionaire, or would you rather everybody else live the lifestyle of a billionaire and it's all like a tie? That's your two questions. Like, which would you know what I mean? So you have to get over this idea of lack. We have to get over this idea of lack. I mean, there is so much more than enough to go around. The only reason there's not enough to go around is because of the belief system that's built around our very let's call it a very constricted monetary system.
Yeah.
It's now as the dollar, we won't get into those politics, but now the dollar of the United States, it's like, it's not based on it. There's nothing it's based on. It's just like a faith system. What? And who am I having faith in here when I look around? Like am I feeling faith right now? Not really one of my emotional feelings that I'm having when I look around right now. What's going on is faith, right? I mean, I have it but that's only because I'm connected in a way where it doesn't have anything to do with what's going on out here. But my point is that it's our monetary system is going to become something else worldwide. It's going.
I think it's going to hit an inflection point. Yeah. Like it's going to crash. Maybe like not that I'm into prophecy or prediction, but I think for a substantial change to take place for civilization, there needs to be a point, an event. Within the community, there's several events, or people say events.
and
energy that's not on the grid anymore, right? I mean, so that's one that we can't just pull the plug. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to anyways, even if you wanted to. But it's one that it has to come out. It has to come out in a very slow, easy way. And the IP, the US, US IPTO system is like it's not friendly to an individual or even a large company. Like, I mean, this is just something that if you go through that way, so it's not in that system currently. It's not in that system. I
suspect Jay is holding something that may I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, my last bit of information for the night for everybody. We're gonna wind it down now a little bit. So we've got a great thing for you. Remember how I told you guys we were waiting on this UFO materials to be here? It came. I've got it in my hand right now, looking at it like it is incredible. And I also have the certificate of origin, meaning that this is proof that we have the actual, like, where it came from, who grabbed it off the ground. It's right here. This sample of metal debris was recovered from a crash site of an unidentified flying object during the 1983 investigation recovery expedition at Lilar, North Wales. This sample is representative of other such material removed earlier by the RAF and Ministry of Defense personnel, authenticated by the signature of Gary M. Rowe, civilian team leader, co-founder, Wales Federation of Independent Ufologists. This sample has also been mounted so it can be easily removed for close inspection and testing. We're getting this tested. We're getting this tested for you guys to get it out to you guys. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it, guys. I'm loving it. This show, Stinky, is just for the. It's not a Phenomenon Pulse Open. It's a Phenomenon Pulse for. We're going over what we're doing in the field for the investigation. The next Phenomenon Pulse will be not this coming week, not the next week, because we have the investigation. It'll be the week after. We've got a lot going on when it's coming to this investigation. UFO material that I will be putting out, as well as the newspaper report that it came with, the certificate from the person, and pictures of the UFO material will be in our Discord channel for anybody who wants to see them and look them over. And our good friend, Gene Sticko, thank you, Gene, is getting in touch with Falcon Labs, I believe it was called. Phoenix Labs, Falcon Labs. Hold on, let me make sure I get it right here.
I think you said Phoenix Labs before, Jay. Just while Jay's looking that up, I want to thank everyone tuned in, everyone who's taken part, Joel, Lady Danielle, Dee, Planet Popstar, everyone in the chat room. It's been an interesting kind of discourse, a little kind of operational briefing and get together, going over what's going to occur in 11 days time. Just want to express thank you very much, and please, if you so feel, press the like button and perhaps hit subscribe and come over to our Discord.
All right, here it is. So Whistling Mike looked at these and said he has never seen this before. And he wants it to get tested. And the actual the person will be Mark from, where is it here? Oh my gosh, come on now. I love going through this. Oh, there it is. Mark Sokolow at Falcon Space in New Jersey.
Falcon Space, New Jersey. Thank you for looking at this.
Mark at Falcon Space in New Jersey. So we're going to be sending this sample to him and getting it tested by him. I have it in my little container here, and I have it in my safe over there, safe and sound. So then we're going to also, like I said, we're also going to have that on our Discord channel. So as soon as we're done here, I will, I'll get these pictures of the certificate of origin of this metal and the actual newspaper clipping from the night of this metal. That will be available on the Discord channel as soon as this is over. All research will be available on the Discord channel. Free, open. You don't have to wait. It's open source. Okay, this is the community that we're building here. You know, we're going to build a community around this, and we're all going to take part in it. You know, we have Joel that wants to do the scientific part. That's what we need. We need that to move forward. We can't be doing, you know, all consciousness-based studies without also figuring in the scientific parts that can come with it. So we do a baseline, go to this place. We're going to go out there with these, 2 days, do this expedition, get this information out to you guys, and start something great. Because
one of the other places this could lead, Jay, I mean, there's all kinds of ways we can get there too, is the whole part about mapping mathematical harmonics as they overlay with consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so that's, I mean, right now we're separating those two very purposefully, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's how we get there.
Yes.
Is we have to show the overlay, right? So that the consciousness thing is obviously the most difficult thing to map because it's so, it's,
once you have
perspective of now, but there are ways mathematically, especially once you get into holographic universe and all those kinds of concepts, that we're going to be able to map it back onto consciousness. We're not the only ones playing with that, of course. All kinds of people are right now. It's emerging within our collective consciousness. The whole idea of like, well, what is it? What does this mean? Well, we will be able to show that it has structure, and that the structure aligns with all this other stuff that we're doing. But this is one way for us to dip our toes in and do all that stuff at once. And so we can bring the science and the mathematics into everything that we're doing. Ultimately, that's the goal from my perspective, is to map this stuff in a way that's coherent, and I mean that from a perspective of consciousness and mathematics. So
100%.
And the math is really, I would consider it more like the math's more offset relations to just geometry, divine geometry. It's all pretty simple. Yeah.
All right. And the last thing I wanted to tell everybody, Discord's open. This will be in the Discord. If it's not in right away, because it looks like my doggie's waking up for wants to go for a nice W-A. I can't say it or she'll jump off that couch. I got to say W-A, but then again, she'll probably get smart and know that too eventually. She's looking at me. So I have to take my doggy for a W-A, but if it's not on there after that, it will be on sometime today. I'm going to post in the pictures, the certificate of authenticity from where this metal came from. And it also gives you chain of custody. Okay. Chain of custody is a big thing with this too. So now we know I have certificate of origin from a chain of custody from metal that crashed in 1983. You know, now I have a basis to go off of, and we can do this. We can keep this going, make it something wonderful, guys. The next thing we have coming up is we do have a show. We have a show planned. We have a double guest. We have what if intuition, hold on, beyond the brain, psychic abilities, mediumship, and human consciousness. What if intuition isn't just a feeling, but a doorway? We are going to have two people, Sharon and Skip Langing of Psychic Spectrum. Okay. Two highly respected voices in the world of psychic development, mediumship, and spiritual evolution. They're going to be joining us on April 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will go live with that episode. That's Friday, I believe. Let me make sure. Yep. This Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have both of them on here. Bring your questions, consciousness-based. And then the week after that, we have the 2-day expedition. The live expedition after
Lots
that.
happening. Lots happening.
So,
A lot happening, guys. Yep.
So what? So what?
Daniel, hold on. A lot's happening in the channel. Everybody's, putting in their work. Everybody's putting in what they need to, and getting this stuff out there. George, he's running the studio. Jewel, scientific expertise of the mind. Planet Popstar, D-Nits, Lady D. All of these people that we have back in our Discord are helping put this thing together for you guys, not just me. It's a team effort. So, Lady Daniel.
Yes. So what would I be doing again?
Well, you've hosted with Jay before in the past. I know you're very good at pulling up information very quickly off the net. You're very gifted with AI and so on.
Okay.
What would it be possible to have you as a co-host, or me and you host the show while we're doing the transmission? I think I could sit here by myself and press the buttons to bring everything in, but I think I'd feel more comfortable having a friend here to be able to help out with that. I'd really appreciate it.
So will we be using this StreamYard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, you guys will be using StreamYard, and we'll get everything sorted out during the next couple days and all that in Discord, and
get a schedule together and really kind of knuckle down on how we're going to transmit this for the audience.
Yep, and then after this, hopefully we get some. Well, not hopefully, because we're going to get data either way. It's going to either be nothing or it's going to be something, but it's always going to be data. Data is not nothing.
You don't have to have anything anomalous happen for this to really actually help us out with mapping the anomalous area. Does that make sense? Because it's all we're looking at. We're trying. I mean, it'd be fantastic if we have that overlay. Then that's could be groundbreaking in terms of just hey, kind of got some proof here, right? That kind of thing. But even if that doesn't happen, it'll still allow us to create the same framework to move forward and continue to improve upon the way in which these areas are measured. Yeah,
100%. And last bit of information to put out. Oh, data. Oh God. So it's not just a channel. This isn't just a chat channel. with our researchers channel in the Galactic Family Discord, we're building something bigger than just a podcast here. We're building a real community-driven research effort. And I think it's going to be really something special. I also want to let people know that all donations and anything earned through the Galactic Family Podcast goes directly towards our animal shelter outreach project. And at the end of the year, the money is donated to a local no-kill shelter, animal shelter. So not only are we trying to push this research forward, but we're also trying to, make sure that it helps do some real good at home here too.
Pay it forward, give it back, yeah.
If this sounds something like you want to be part of, definitely come join us in the Discord, because the signal continues, and my 1,000-pound, weight is a little bit deflated right now, so I gotta
gently.
No. The 1,000 pounds is like the kind of got a little.
It disappears when you do it that fast, Jay. It just wasn't even there for a second. That's like, there you go.
My brain. Okay, it's cool.
So pound that like button if you want. George says, press it gently. I say,
press the like button gently. Hit subscribe.
I say you have the 1,000-pound willpower in your head. Mentally project that onto that like button, and let's go make some scientific marvels here, some evidence. Let's get some stuff out to the people. I will see you guys on the Discord here in a little bit. She just got up, so she already knows what's happening. Take my dog for a walk, and then I'll make sure I'll put these in the Discord chat. You guys are more than welcome to join us in there. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of fun.
Till next
time.
Join
the research channel. Yep. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming on here. Thank you guys for being part of this.
Thing is real. It can't be.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
There is no spoon.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the world.
UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead.
My name is Nick Pope, formerly from the British UFO Desk, and you're listening to the Galactic Family Podcast.
The signal has been received. The truth is still unfolding. The signal will continue with you.